With Jen.
All right, well, without any further ado, I will call this meeting of the regular school committee Wednesday, June 12th to order. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Flag is right over Jennifer's shoulder. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Just have a moment of reflection before we start our work tonight. Thank you all. All right, I will somebody enter a motion to enter into executive session, or I will enter a motion to enter into executive session. Do I have a second?
Want to make the motion?
Should I make it or?
No. Someone else makes the motion. Someone else second.
I move to enter executive session. Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? There are no nays. We will enter into executive session. Okay. Well, look at this. Very good turnaround there, Roger. All right, we will reconvene in open session. I will note that there were no votes taken in executive session, and I will consider a vote to seal the minutes of executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We will seal the minutes. 5-0 there. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, item 4.1 through 4.5?
I move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public input tonight? I know the sign-in sheet was up there. I see some folks in the crowd. We'll just do it by a show of hands. Certainly you can say your name, your address, and we'll start the time if there is any. Excellent. And now, the man with the key to the door. Principal McKinnon, end of your spotlight, Wilbur activities. Please take it away.
Great, thank you, Chairman.
Stretch.
So, anyways, end of the year, and as any end of the year in any school system USA is very busy. Last Wednesday afternoon, in the morning, we had 16 members of the Portsmouth High School graduating class, 2024, show up to do their senior walk. The senior walk, you don't know, is a tradition that started 15, 20 years ago down in Texas, and it's kind of taken over many school districts around the country. This group right here that you're looking at, unfortunately in 2020, we had a class here at the school. And we just out in the last few months of school. And also just out at any end of the year activities. So this was a great opportunity. Mr. Rocha, Mike, Laurie, and myself were at the graduation last Friday night under beautiful skies at high school. Just a great day for our, not just the graduating seniors, but also the teachers and the students to see, you know, kids that they look up to, students that they've had, finally, finishing up their school career. So previous week to that, we had our community project presentations. As you can see behind you, one of the murals that actually was the winner of the community project presentations by Ms. Suyai Armananzis. But they had their presentations in the library. They presented to the students in grades, I believe it was 2 through 7, with parents coming in at 3 o'clock with I believe there are about 15 different presentations. As you can see, the inclusion mural, an affirmation hopscotch, keeping our beaches clean, South Shore, control burns, letters to children that have no children's hospital. Just a great opportunity for our kids to show their wares with the community project. I have to thank Mr. Lee Torres, who took on the role as the community project coordinator. He was certainly helped along by the following mentors: Mr. Ford, Ms. Miller, Ms. Robin, Ms. Cole, and Mr. Torres himself. Next slide, John. This past yesterday, we had our grade 3 young authors workshop. Ms. Bowley put this together. She's been spending the last month, preparing the kids. They wrote books pretty much on anything. Hardcover books, anything from Star Wars to kids. Great opportunity. Parents, grandparents were able to attend. Caretakers and students from all throughout the building had an opportunity to see some of the fine work by our young authors. Yesterday was also field day. It was probably one of the most spectacular days of the school year in terms of weather.
Gorgeous.
Just a great opportunity. I have to shout out a couple of people here. First of all, in the center there, we have 3 students from Portsmouth High School. A tradition that we've been trying to run is to bring back the seniors from Portsmouth High School to run the events. Unfortunately, the messaging struggled to get out to most of them, but we did have a few show up. There were 3 of them right here who worked tug of war, but just a great opportunity for them to give back to the school where it all began. Mr. Ford and Ms. Cannon have been the gatekeepers of this pretty much for the last, oh gosh, since Ms. Cannon's probably been here with Mr. McGregor. It's a huge undertaking, whether it's ordering with the PTO, ordering T-shirts, setting up the games, coordinating with the 7th graders and the high school seniors, but truly did a great job. And they need to be congratulated. It's not an easy task. It is to see all bodies moving in unison. And finally, actually, there's 2 more slides, but our grade 8 farewell tour has begun. It started last Friday with our grade 8 awards ceremony. Monday night, we had our dinner dance that took place in the gym with our chef, Mr. Mike DeLeo, preparing an Italian veggie and chicken palm dinner for everybody. The following day, yesterday, they took a trip to South Shore. That is now our class day down in South Shore. And, I know there's been a lot of, not pushback, but people who wish they could go back to Canopy Lake Park. I think overall the kids loved it. They do every year. Had an opportunity to, as crazy as it sounds, they were in the water all day, according to Miss Miller. And then finally, graduation takes place tomorrow, promptly at 6 o'clock. And then some other things that are happening. Our grade 4 was at the Rhode Island State House last Friday. We had June Farrell from South Shore come to speak to our students in grades K through 7, grade K through 6 about swimming safety. He also does a little opportunity to reach out to students who are interested in doing lifeguarding, trying to get them on board. Our spring arts exposition, music, band, chorus, and arts. We also had a 4th grade opportunity for them to show how they use trash and were able to make artistic versions of the trash. Up on the wall here, you see our parade of history. That was grade 4 that took place last Wednesday. Our grade 8 DC trip was in May 18, 17, 18, 19. And grade 3 also had an auto body presentation. 2 days last week in May. And that's just some of the things that happened here over the last week or so.
How are you doing?
Doing fine.
It does pick up. It certainly does. Do any members have comments for Principal McKinnon?
I do.
Please.
Any issues with the Washington trip at all? Everything out? Any issues with the Washington trip? Everything,
The Washington trip went off as smoothly as possible. They were lucky at the time. We were getting some torrential rain here. They missed out on it. Some of the pictures that I saw, Megan, you could probably attest to this. I think you guys were lucky to have some pretty nice weather. I think there was a little bit of rain, but it wasn't overly hot, which it can be.
Yeah, the first day when we got there, it was a little rainy, but it didn't stop anything. We just kind of kept going. But the rest of it was beautiful weather, like perfect for walking around.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, from the time you step off the plane to the time you put your head down at night, they are constantly moving.
37,000 steps. 37,000 steps. Yeah, we average 7 miles a day.
Wow.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Wow. Principal McKinnon, it seems like on all cylinders again. It seems like everything's kind of returned. We have all we've got the trips going, we have the extracurricular activities going, we have things going on in the school. You've done a beautiful job. You really have. And everyone.
Back with any kind of, I'll use the example of the 8th grade. They used to take a trip up to Canopy Lake Park, as their class day, from a financial point of view, not just the transportation to and from, but to pay for the park, to pay for the food.
Yeah.
It just gets expensive. There would be an added, probably a couple of fundraisers that they would have to do. We're lucky where we are in Little Compton. We have South Shore Beach. I know South Shore is in tough shape. We did move down to Goose Wing for the class day. And
They had so much fun.
They did, and we don't have to go anywhere. You have it right here in Little Compton.
Great. You do a beautiful job working with folks here, certainly with the PTO or with this.
Yeah, and again,
Great job.
Mr. DeLeo and Miss Miller are the two class advisors for eighth grade. They're the ones who, do all the planning, all the fundraising.
Really great.
I mean, they're gonna be starting with next year's eighth grade in another month. So it's exciting.
You have a lot to be proud about. Just a great school district. You've done very well. You're a great leader of this school. Appreciate you, Principal McKinnon.
Travis,
Please.
one question. Were they able to acquire the lanes of Reed for next year?
The lake, no, you know what, that has to be done. They are very specific about the laying of the wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It has to be, I believe it's 6 months from the time of your trip, the time you're gonna be there, that they have to put in for it. There were a couple of years where they always got it. The last, I don't believe they got it last year. I know this year they weren't able to do that because another group got it. But they're very specific, and I know just seeing Mr. DeLeo every morning, if it's 6 months before they do the wreath, he is on the horn or emailing whatever he's got to do to get that in place.
We still went there. Yeah. Yeah. We went and still watched
It's
the,
actually
the changing of the guard. Right, yeah.
pretty impressive.
Right,
Quite a somber ceremony.
yeah. I remember it from my Washington trip. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for everything. Any other questions or comments for Principal McKinnon? If not, we will turn it over to Miss Lori and her superintendent report.
Okay, well, let's see. I will start with Get the Foam Out grant. We received just over $75,000. I submitted a few months ago. And it focuses on the cafeteria, and it's all about recycling and reducing food waste, et cetera, et cetera. So our particular grant focuses on leveraging the current recycling program that we have. We use Black Earth. The food waste diversion program, we use Black Earth for that too. Also, I requested a Hobart commercial dishwasher because we don't have one. And that'll match our brand new Vulcan range that they have been firing up there for the first time in a dozen years or so. It also includes 2 automatic child-safe hand washing / drying stations. And so I think I sent you a link, Jonathan. And so that's so that the children can put their little hands in, and then there'll be dryers up overhead, because as they participate in our food waste diversion program and recycling program, they're dealing with a liquid station and a sticker station from fruit and vegetables and all that good stuff. So so this will be, the little kids will put their little hands in, and all the jets will wash their hands, and then we'll also get air dryers instead of paper. And so, writing all that in, I said, oh, they're not going to accept that, and they did. We're kind of neat freaks around here, and we like clean hands and clean facility. I also added reusable servingware rather than plastic, 5 compartment trays and utensils, and a training framework for Chartwells and our brand new school green team advisors. So I also wrote in some stipends for our new green team advisors. And this year they're Amy McLean and Michael Ayotte, so that they can get a little bit of, mad money for what they're doing in our cafeteria. So we're gonna have a $75,000 overhaul. Thank you, Ride and School Building Authority. And you'll sign the MOA like you did a few years ago for the art room furnishings and so forth. We also applied for Farm and Sea to School grant, and that came up at the Wellness Committee, maybe a month or two ago, and we were selected for the Institute. And we will augment current activities in the Eco Oasis right over there that will focus on planting and harvesting vegetables in the raised beds, maybe even adding more raised beds. We have 4 participants, Nicole Gay, Jessica Higgins, Donna Humphreys of Chotwells, and also Amy McLean, and they will be going down to the University of Rhode Island's Graduate School of Oceanography at a 2-day institute at the end of this month, 27th and 28th of June. And we have already been assigned a farm and sea to school mentor for next year. I just got her name today and the framework. So we will have guidance in terms of leveraging our existing resources, our outdoor classroom, and our capacities in there. And it will translate into a financial component. And that we will get next spring to actuate our plan. So I know, that's about $3,000 or so we're excited about that. Another grant that we received is from Yale University. There's a summer symposium on that will focus on educator wellness and emotionally intelligent leadership, pathway to educator well-being and engagement. That is July 15th and 16th at Yale. And I think Jack McKinnon will be going, Mary Elizabeth Miller will be going, and also Carolyn Sedgwick. And it might be what we need to perpetuate the incredible educator peer support program that was funded this year by Van Buren. And that's sort of a one and done. You do that 1 year and that's how you start building capacity. So RIDE did send out some information about the summer symposium. It's usually about $10,000 per team, and most of it is being funded by a grant. So we're pretty happy about that. I may join them if my schedule allows, but I doubt it. So I'm letting them go and learn and grow. And I think they will get a tour of Yale. And it's all about the reality of supporting staff in an age of unending change. And so we're kind of excited about that. You'll notice on the agenda, District Teacher of the Year Award, I'm going to table that. I'm going to ask you to table that item for a bit. We usually announce our District Teacher of the Year at our field day. At the end of the day, we have a gift, we have a microphone, and drum roll, please. And our designee was not there. And so we always announce with our staff and stakeholders. And so I will be doing that tomorrow night. That will be my speech. It'll be short, and we will announce who the winner is. It's redundant to have a superintendent and principal speak anyway. I never understood that here. So I think we will shift it from field day to graduation, and this person will be there. And it is an honor to utter his name and Bird's District Teacher of the Year. And you'll all be pleased, but the announcement
Understood.
to be here, it's certainly not the way we want to fetch this extraordinary educator. And that's it. Stay tuned tomorrow night.
Any questions for Superintendent?
Yes. How is the money going to be distributed from the grants?
Oh, okay. So with the kitchen upgrade, we submit invoices to the school building authority, very much like what we're doing with our capital projects. And so there's a sheet, and every time you get an invoice, you complete the sheet, send the invoice with it. And John has more experience. I just did that with the range. I got the invoice. That was a federal grant that we received, that I had written. And so it's a lot of paperwork and checks and balances, but as it should be. So yeah, it doesn't come to us per se, we submit.
Initially, this grant was, it was
Match.
requiring a match of 50%. And based on a number of people that applied, I guess they had enough funds that they discontinued the match. So this is a full out grant, so we can purchase whatever we need. I know we got a good chunk of money in Lincoln as well too. So, and by law, we have to start eliminating use of phone
Right.
in the food service program. So this is going to go to a long way to accomplishing that. So
We've had discussions as far as like housing aid gets distributed twice a year. Is that gonna be the same situation with this, or is it? So you get an invoice and it gets submitted and it gets paid right away, or?
Yep. This is a reimbursable grant. So as soon as we spend the money, we submit the application and RIDE pays it, but usually within 2 weeks of submission.
Excellent. Ray, I did have a question or a comment. You noted, so our silverware or,
Yeah, we're going to have reusable serviceware. We have serviceware
and trays?
reusable.
Oh, my
trays.
God.
I think 5 compartments,
Excellent.
5 or 7, I couldn't decide.
Excellent.
It's about time, but we didn't have a dishwasher.
Understood, yes.
2011 or whatever, so, and we had no range, so problem solved.
Thank you.
Finally have a working kitchen, and we have a teacher who has safe serve certification, otherwise he couldn't cook here.
Excellent.
So we're crossing our Ts and dotting our Is. Yeah.
Well, really well done on applying for these grants. And as Mr. McNamee said, we went in with certain expectations, but because of your diligence, we ended up getting the full amount. And that's what it's all about. You don't know if you don't participate. So you're excellent at grant writing, and this is the kind of thing we can really.
If I had known he was writing Lincoln grants,
Mr. McNamee, come on, let's little talking. We could maybe little collaboration there.
it's all good. I said, he didn't write that. It's all good. Well, if it's out there, I'm jumping on it. So John,
well with that.
where I think,
And our small district really capitalized, $75,000 is a lot anywhere, but certainly in a small district, it goes a lot further. So really kudos to you and certainly the staff in there in place.
I have to.
Bringing us to a greener school.
I have to thank Amy McLean. She came up with the best ideas, and Michael Ayotte. I said, what would you like me to write in? I'm writing in a dishwasher. The rest is for you.
I love it.
So they gave me $50,000 worth of other purchases.
Well done.
And I'm just, yeah. It's
Well done.
Yeah.
Excellent. If there's nothing else from the superintendent, I'll turn it over to the finance report. Item 8, Mr. John McNamee, coming to the end of our.
So we're getting down to the end of the year. We have, it looks like at this point, I'm projecting a deficit in the neighborhood of about 127,000, which is up from last month. And the reason being is that we were anticipating $100,000 in from the Newport County Regional Special Education. And we did receive last week a check for 41,000 as a partial distribution. So we know that there are funds available. In fact, Gloria and I have a board meeting tomorrow there to get an update on where they stand on the dissolution of that entity. And there are funds available for us to get the remaining part of the 100,000. The issue is going to be in 25, where I projected 50,000. I'm not sure that we're going to get all of that, but we may have some other alternatives to get some of that money back. So that's why we're looking at a deficit of about 127 at this point in time. Nothing else has changed. We knew we were going to be over budget in the area of out of district tuition for vocational ed as well as special education. So, but other than that, no surprises. On the capital side, we are, and I think solar is waiting for the permits to come in.
Yeah.
They should have those within the next couple of weeks. So they're going to start in earnest in July. They should be done certainly before the opening of school, because it's not that big of a project for them to complete. So
Mr. McNamee, I did have a question. You had mentioned, I believe, at the last meeting regarding the program, getting involved in it prior to June 30th, so that we could capitalize if we so did decide to go with the pump systems.
Right.
And we had like a window of 5 years. I know Michael was, the urgency seemed tight, but it was one of those things where we get in and then we have a 5-year window to determine whether or not we're going to.
Right, we have until June of 29 to spend the money. So the housing aid forms will be submitted by July 15th. And with those forms, as long as we have a contract, for example, we've met with the architects. So as long as we have a contract with them to design the system, we'll be locked in to get the additional bonus incentives at that point in time. So that's one of the projects. There may be some others. I know that we've got the parking lot, which is on the books, which the town is going to fund. I'm going to take a look at that and see if we can include that one as well. So those two, I know right now we will be able to submit. So,
And we have until the 15th, so we'll be able to.
July 15th, yeah.
But if the vote is necessary, we'll be able to do that at the next meeting to ensure that we don't miss out on that opportunity.
Well, I mean, all we need is the documentation to send to right. We're not really going to be spending any additional money. We just want to get our name
Okay.
on the list so that we have the incentives in place. So
I just don't want to miss that
we
opportunity.
don't use the money and we don't have the funds to be able to do what we need to do. We're not going to be doing it, but we just don't want to miss out on that opportunity.
And in terms of the parking lot, you had noted that the town was interested in funding that project. Would there be an opportunity, seeing as how, I mean, and I don't know where the location is going to be, but I would believe that the school is going to have some use case for it, i.e. parking for teachers and or student drop off behind the building. Would there be any housing aid ride dollars available? So instead of the town, let's say it's $1 million, dollar for dollar. If the school did it at $1 million, we'd receive 35% back or whatever the case is, making.
So we've had discussions with the town, and basically what we need to do is we need to just get a letter from the town giving us care and control. And that way there, it comes under obviously our care and control, which is basically the same as this building. So it's a town building. The town has given us care and control over the school building. So they'll do the same thing with the parking lot. As long as we have that, it would qualify for housing aid.
Beautiful. Anything we can do to incentivize using those dollars in a better fashion, that'd be fantastic for the taxpayer, certainly. Anyone else have any questions for Mr. McNamee?
Trying to follow up. You said you got 41,000 of the 100,000. You're gonna find out about the balance. And you mentioned the 50,000 is 25.
50,000 is what we put in the budget for FY25 for distribution. I believe we may get a portion of that. I'm not sure. We're gonna find out tomorrow what the preliminary numbers are at this point in time, because there were some outstanding liabilities that they were trying to resolve. And depending on the resolution, we'll have a better idea of how much money would be available for distribution.
So that 50,000 is part of the 100,000, if I understand you.
That's an additional monies that we put into the 25 budget as revenue. So we had 100 in revenue in 24, and we had 50 in revenue. So we had 150 in total.
So we've projected 100,000 in 24, 50,000 in 25, of which we've only received 41,000.
Correct.
We'll earn that money, getting that money back.
We'll
Redistributing it, however they're going to do.
yeah, we'll find out tomorrow, where it stands in terms of the net assets available. We know there's money there. There's well over 7 figures there, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. McNamee. Appreciate that. On to committee reports. I will turn it over to Chair of the Policy Subcommittee.
We met on May 21st. We discussed many policies. that aren't up for discussion tonight, but they will be in the coming months. They're almost ready, so.
Excellent. Beautiful. Item 9.2, that is me, the Portsmouth School Committee Liaison Report. So as Principal McKinnon noted, 186 students walked across the stage last week walked across the stage outside. Graduation. I do have some notes in terms of where some of these students will be heading. BC, Brown, Johns Hopkins, University of Illinois, Northeastern, Pace University, RPI, Texas A&M, and University of New England, just to note a few. I had a commitment, a recreational commitment, so I appreciate Michael and Superintendent and Principal McKinnon attending. Just a couple notes there wasn't much to talk about last night. As we all know, they are graduated, but just for this summer, Patriot Drive and Education Lane, the road work will commence. They did Memorial Drive last year, so if you are visiting the high school at some point this summer, there may be some disruption in terms of how you navigate in and out. Tonight, or actually tomorrow night, the 14th, or no, it's tonight, because they said, yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The town council is meeting tonight to approve the budget for Portsmouth School District. So I know that Emily will definitely be in attendance for that. She didn't indicate that there would be any issue as to why they wouldn't move forward with approving the budget. Nice note here, Dr. Heath was named to the Providence Business Journal 40 under 40. I believe he was the only educator named. So quite an achievement and certainly a great value add for our students at Portsmouth in that district, and then our students that matriculate up there from Little Compton. And then finally, there was a rescheduled event. The Portsmouth Community Yard Sale will be happening this Saturday, the 15th, at Portsmouth High School, and that'll also be in conjunction. There is a battery recycling and hazardous material recycling. So there'll be certainly some activity up at Portsmouth High School this weekend. With that being said, that's all I have, and I will go to item 9.3 and turn it over to Ms. Sue Kinane in the Wellness Committee Liaison Report.
Charles, can I just ask them that? Sure. To follow up on on your Portsmouth High School, during graduation at Portsmouth the other night, I had the opportunity to talk to the Portsmouth Committee Chair. She mentioned about getting additional funds, and I meant to ask you this during your presentation from the state. They were getting extra funds, that each community was getting something.
Right, so the revised state aid numbers came out. Every March, we submit statistics to RIDES. They redo the governor's recommended budget based on enrollment numbers. In a lot of districts, including Portsmouth, we were going to be reduced a little bit. I think Tiverton was reduced. There was a bunch of them. There was a lot of discussion about reinstating some of those funds. So when the final numbers came out, for example, in Lincoln, I was down 176. I wound up getting 203 of additional funds. So that was based on the legislative voting on adding some additional funds for state aid. So and here, I think we got an additional 8,000 maybe.
Correct.
Yep.
So that'll bring us to what, 376?
Yeah, we're still in the threes. Yeah. Don't get a lot of state aid based on.
Correct. So while we did get a little shot in the arm, certainly not groundbreaking. We are a smaller district.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
But it was nice to see it move the needle in a positive direction. Michael, that was a good note to bring up. If there's nothing else on the Portsmouth School Committee Liaison Report, I will turn it over to Ms. Sue Kinane for the Wellness Committee Liaison Report.
All righty. So we had our meeting on May 16th. Chartwell's met with the students. They had a chance at looking at menu samples. They were able to discuss what foods they like best, and they could talk about future menus. The kids made several requests. They're going to come back in the fall, meet with the children again, and vote on some choices. They're going to look at new menus in the fall. They're also going to take a look at offering better breakfast options for the students. Lori already told you about the kitchen. The peer support program is all finished for the year, but the staff really enjoyed it. They had a Wednesday workout program that they really enjoyed, so they asked if they could add a Monday one also. And they requested that they continue it in the summer.
Excellent, excellent.
So if anybody wants to work out. Anyway, and then we'll set up new dates for next year.
Beautiful.
That's that.
Thank you, Sid. Item 9.4, Michael, the Town Recreation Committee Liaison Report.
We actually had two meetings, one on May 20th and one on May 29th. We talked about the recommendations of the monies pending the financial town meeting for the tennis courts. And there's also going to be a pickleball clinic that's going to start on June 15th.
All ages?
They didn't say that. I think it's going to be more of an adult, from what I understood. They're looking to replace some of the tennis nets down at the tennis court currently. And there is going to be a realignment of members at the next meeting coming up.
Okay. Do you have a date on that meeting?
It's the fourth Monday of the month, and see if I can. I don't, sorry, not with me.
Maybe the 25th. Not positive, nonetheless. All right, contract negotiation subcommittee report. We discussed and we'll be voting on approving the contract between the Little Compton Educational Support Personnel and the Little Compton School Committee. And we will be voting on that in item 11.1 later tonight, but we will have, I believe there is no other negotiation things to be had. And then finally, item 9.6, we have received 7 scholarships. And the 26th works? Okay, beautiful. And we will be meeting on June the 26th, Sue and myself, with Ms. Jennifer to discuss who will be awarded those scholarships. Just so everyone knows, we do this blindly. We certainly have the applicants. We cover up the names, all the data and information, and then we discuss amongst ourselves where we feel them deserving as to what the scholarships somewhat entail, what they're trying to target. So we'll follow up with those reports at the next meeting, and I believe we will vote in executive session and then present the scholarships outside of executive session, and we'll invite those folks here. I'd imagine we will have a unanimous vote into supporting those endeavors. Finally, item 10, moving on to discussion of the Get Out the Foam Initiative. Rhode Island Department of Education Memorandum of Agreement for the Get Out the Foam Initiative School Building Authority Capital Fund.
And Jen has the document for your signature.
Have it right here, yes. And is there any discussion? I mean, I only have to add is, we go in thinking we're going to get, it's a 50% match.
Right.
You got to apply for these things because you don't know how they'll shake out. We would have figured out how to allocate those funds should we have been awarded, but to be awarded the full grant amount of $75,000 and to see what it's going to do to that, the cafeteria in terms of, having a dishwasher in the cafeteria. Just, I get why you gotta, steal from Peter to pay Paul when you're building things, but that is an essential item in a facility such as this. So kudos to you, Lori, for your.
No more thermometers and no
And then-
more holding our breath when DOE
Microwaves?
do spot testing.
Microwaves?
We have a sonic steamer, I wrote a grant for that about 4 years ago, yeah. Which is a fancy commercial.
Yeah, is there any other discussion on that?
No.
I'm good.
Beautiful.
Long overdue.
Just sign away, right? And I'll allow the final member to date the bottom of the morning. And then Lori, that'll need your signature, as you know, and then we will capitalize on that opportunity. Excellent. Well done.
Yep, Chartwell's will assist us with getting at minimum 3 quotes for everything. Yeah, we're good.
Excellent. Moving on to action items. Consider, discuss, and vote to approve the contract memorandum of agreement between the Little Compton Educational Support Personnel and the Little Compton School Committee. We did discuss this in executive session. Do I have a motion to approve the contract?
So moved.
Second.
We will vote via roll call, Jennifer.
Travis Audi,
Aye.
Hannah Ayotte,
Aye.
Megan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Susan Canine,
Aye.
Mike Rocha.
Excellent. The motion carries. The contract is official. And Sean, do we need to sign anything tonight, or we will?
No, you can hold off on signing. Chair can sign on behalf of the committee. Once we have the non-red line version of the contract, we will then, we'll come.
Perfect. Item 11.2, consider, discuss, and vote on the updated school calendar. Do we have any?
Yeah, well,
Here, does anyone want to share?
McKinnon, I'll start off. We are constantly figuring out better ways to deliver the best instructional program that we can. And we created a scheduling committee this year for the first time, since I've been here anyway. And it was the idea of Mr. Gabriel and Mr. McKinnon. And that team decided that they would do various configurations for the academic year. And they decided that trimesters would check many boxes in terms of teacher workflows, student transitions, fraught end of quarter assessments, things like that. And so the only thing we changed the day of school, last day of school. We just reapportioned the school year, divided it into 3 trimesters rather than 4 quarters. We also, RIDE came out and said, hey, everybody, you have to go on record with 4 snow days or whatever at the end of the school year. So we added those as well. So nothing has changed. No vacations, nothing substantial. But you might want to speak to the advantages of trimesters.
Sure. So basically, you're going from a 45-day term or quarter to a 60-day trimester. That gives, our students more time, whether it's the start of the year, it gives our teachers more time. Kindergarten will be having 3 report cards. I think currently right now they have one at the 3-year point and at the end of the year, but there'll be 3 now. It makes sense, as Dr. Mitchell talked a little bit about, it's not that rush at the end of the quarter, 45 days in, which is really the tip of the iceberg. There are schools that have moved towards a trimester model, particularly at the primary level, but also at the middle school level as well. It's not a huge change. The schedule itself, as Dr. Mitchell talked about, we still start on the same day. We still finish on the same day. Vacations have not changed. It's just the grading schedule that's changed. So December 4th is the end of the first trimester. March 18th is the end of the second trimester.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, way to enhance for our students in terms of educational outcomes. Appreciate you both and the discussion regarding that. All right, I will consider a motion to vote to approve the new school calendar trimesters.
So
Do I have a
second.
All right, we'll vote via roll call, Jennifer.
Travis Audi,
Aye.
Hannah Ayotte. Aye. Megan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Susan Canine,
Aye.
Mike Rocha.
All right.
Excellent. The motion carries. Item 11.3 is tabled this evening as we did not discuss it in executive session, and we will revisit that at our next meeting. 11.4, school committee requests or information from administration or legal counsel. Anyone? I will then move to item 12. I will consider a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Aye. Excellent. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Enjoy your evening. It's beautiful weather and it's